Hello, GLOBEBUSTERS. Yes, of course they're serious. You do? You have? No kidding. Uh-huh. Oh, they'll cure your globitis this week. Thank you. We got one!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the GLOBEBUSTERS.
What are you supposed to be, some kind of a cosmonaut?
No, we're exterminators.
And now, here's your host.
And welcome everybody to GLOBEBUSTERS, Flat Earth This Week in Review. I'm your host, Bob Xanadude60, and we are back with another show for you this week. After the amazing Flattoberfest, which, I know everybody's been talking about, but some people think that this was possibly one of the best ones ever. It was definitely full of happenings and lots of great stuff going on, so we had a really good time. I have to admit that. But busy as always. I mean, lots and lots of people. I'm not exactly sure how many people were there. Cammie, do you know how many people were there? Was it like 400 or 500, something like that?
Right in there. We know there was over 400, and we didn't, because we were selling at the door and everything, we've not counted that, but I know it was over 400. It was a great turnout. It was so many people and so much fun, but somewhere right in that mark.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I knew that she sold a ton of them out the door. Lots of people there. So I don't know. I'm just going to call it 500 people because it easily looked that way. And the venue was absolutely beautiful. It was really nice, very unique for what it was. The stage area was a little bit smaller, but it just had a very cozy feel to it, even though it was very big. Had a very nice, cozy feel to it, and just everybody, there was so much good energy going around. It was awesome. So we're going to talk about that and a couple other things today. And before we do that, let me go ahead and introduce today's panel. First up, we have Zachary Zabala from the Good Times for All channel. How you doing, Zach?
Hey, Bobo. Hey, everybody. Oh, doing great. I finally got my voice back to normal. It's weird. I'm just not used to talking, that many days in a row for well, it's not even just the 8-10 hours we're there. It's talking all night afterwards. And yeah, I never knew your voice could get like that. I see what David's talking about now,
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Your voice so much. Yeah, man. Yeah. But no, It was the best event I've been to yet. I know for you it might be a little different. You're you're so well known now that you would take about 2 steps and then someone would grab you and start talking to you, and then all of a sudden there would be a line start forming behind that person. So yeah, I could see how it was a little more hectic for you than other people, but a lot of new faces. So many new faces I had never seen before.
Yep, lots of brand new people. Yep, lots of brand new people. And it was awesome. It was really cool because it's just really cool to see so much new blood. I mean, you have all the old people that are still around. A lot of people watch the stream of it. Of course, they stream the majority of it on Rockfin. I think one part of it, the very first part of it, didn't get streamed on Rockfin for some reason, but I know that Karen B has it on YouTube. And so I think she'll probably transfer it over to Rockfin so we can see that. But all of the presentations are pretty much all there for the entire weekend that you can watch on Rockfin, which is cool. But you're right, Zach. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I really do love and appreciate the fans, but it's like everybody has an idea and everybody has something they want to say, and it's really cool. But it's crazy because I'll just try and walk across a room, and so I'll walk up and somebody will come up to me and start talking to me, and then fortunately I have to stop, right? And then when other people see that I'm stopped there, they'll like kind of get in line, and then they're like 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And then I'll finally get them cleared out, and I'll take another 2 steps, and then somebody will come up to me, and it's like, oh my God, this is insane. But I love it. But man, I'm glad I only have to do that a couple times a year, because that's just crazy.
Yeah, not while you're doing it,
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, talking a lot. Yeah, totally. My tongue is actually sore. Well, mostly because I have when I chipped my tooth a few weeks back, you know how you like when you get a sharp edge on your tooth and you keep playing with it, right? And I kept playing with it, and now it's sore. So it's like, I'm like talking funny and it hurts. So it's like, oh God, I give up. So anyway, always something. So, all right, next up we have with us Mr. John Savage. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing well, Bob. It's been quite a while since I've been on again, seems like anyway. But yeah, it's good timing actually, because I've been pretty sick as a dog really, after getting the flu and cold and cough and all sorts of stuff, and then got yeah, I won't go into it, but yeah, it's taken me out for a couple of weeks. So even though I might have wanted to turn up to Flat Earth Oktoberfest, I wouldn't have been able to after all. But I've been watching some of the live streams, and yeah, really cool. It's I thought that it was going to be full of flat earthers basically, but a lot of the people that I saw, Critical Inception was filming you, Zach, talking to a guy for ages, going through all the stuff on your desk and everything, and yeah, it was just good to see that not everyone is completely on the same page, and there are people there that still have questions that you can provide answers to. I thought that was really enlightening. Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of really good ideas that came forward too. There was a guy that was kind of reworking the southern hemisphere of the globe, and he thought he had figured out a method where he could show how they did their little magic trick down there. And he showed me an overview of it, and it looked pretty good. So he's going to send me the rest of it in detail. But it's really cool what people come up with. And this is exactly what I love to see, from people, because, they may not have a show that they talk on, or they may not make videos, but there are people out there that are definitely diligently thinking away about, this flat earth thing that we're on, and how it works. And they're just as obsessed with it as we are. If not more so in some cases. But so I really like hearing stuff like that. And, I welcome it. Anything that people want to send me, absolutely, I welcome it. And of course, I share it around. We do that all over, between all of us, really. We have several groups of us that, we have several different Skype groups, chat groups, Facebook groups, that we share all this stuff through, and it's amazing. The hive mind, I think Mark Sargent calls it, the internet hive mind. Nothing ever gets past it. It's pretty cool.
No, I agree. I think I sort of dropped seeds. Well, I didn't drop seeds. I lectured my best mate for a whole evening about 2 years ago, and haven't spoken to him since really. But he came back to me a couple of weeks ago, and apparently TikTok is just exploded with flat earth stuff. He's getting all his information from TikTok, which I don't even look at. But
really,
yeah. So he was asking, mentioning all these things that he'd seen go past his, whatever it is, a feed on TikTok or whatever. But yeah, I just thought, you can't get away from it.
Well, it's never going to go away, that's for sure. Even though they're trying their best to distract us. And, I have to admit, what they're distracting us with is definitely worth talking about because of the severity of it. And, it's always been a race. And I've said this since day one. of either people are going to wake up and see what's happening and see what the governments and the powers that run the world are actually doing, or they're not going to in time, and they're going to implement all these Orwellian laws and rules, and then they're going to have us basically corralled in to, where they've got the system essentially locked down. Now, one thing I will say that I am really happy to see is, even though you will never see it in any of the mainstream reporting, obviously, or the newspapers or anything like that, there are protests going on all over the world. I mean, millions and millions of people that are protesting and are letting their voice be heard and saying, no, you're not going to do this to us. It's not going to happen. And, the government is responding with its usual, bait and switch tactics and everything that they do. It's just crazy. And if you're awake and you're aware of it, it's amazing to watch.
They are literally in desperation mode from what I can see at the moment. And like you say, there are millions of people out there. You got the police joining with the public in Italy. Did you see the Mayo Clinic? They're going to sack everyone unvaccinated there, and 8,000 employees.
Wow.
8,000 employees in the Mayo Clinic are basically up for termination if they don't take the vax. So,
that's tell all these people a lot. Right there. That these people are refusing to take it and losing these prestigious positions at this clinic. I mean, that should say it all to anybody who's questioning, well, why don't you just go get the vax? What's the big deal?
Yeah, and the High Court in New Zealand, I don't know if you heard this, that they ruled that the mandatory vax is unlawful. Basically, simply not human rights or anything along those lines. It was simply on the question of, is it an experimental therapy? And it was deemed that it was, because it wouldn't be complete until 2023. And on that basis, it violates the Nuremberg Code and numerous other things as being an experimental treatment in air quotes. But that's a big one. The High Court or the Supreme Court in New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, people are actually figuring out what it actually is without me, coming right out and saying it. And if they haven't got it completely figured out to the severity that a lot of us have, they're definitely understanding that the powers that be are acting so squirrely over it. Firing people, making it mandatory, changing rules, blocking out thousands of physicians with their opinions. It's crazy. It's absolutely unprecedented. And even if you're like almost completely asleep, how could you possibly not see it, right? So that's one good thing, right?
They're offering you donuts. I know I heard there were somewhere was offering guns to if you got vaccinated, they'd give you a gun.
Yeah. Oh,
they were offering bags of cannabis over here.
That's right. I saw that too. There's nothing they won't do to get you to stick this thing in your arm. And that's got to tell you something if you've got even 2 neurons in your head that are still firing on one cylinder,
Exactly. And we are not giving medical advice, of course, because heaven forbid we would ever presume to do that. We are not doctors. I don't even play one on TV. So, don't listen to me.
If I was, I would resign.
Yep. So, all right. So let's get around to our 4th person that we have in the panel, and that would be my wife, Miss Cammie, in Aisling 717. How are you doing today, Cam?
Well, it's Dottie, so I'm going to be your wife for a moment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think
Lucky
Cammie
you.
is giving you coffee, I believe.
It's coffee time for you, Bob.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm doing awesome, so.
Awesome. So what did you think of Flattoberfest? Give us your take on it.
Oh, I thought it was wonderful. So I've been to Flattoberfest last year, Solar Return, and then Flattoberfest this year. And yeah, I mean, knowing all the people and then meeting so many new ones, it's just every conference is its own thing. You never really know what to expect, but it was such a good time, and I'm just so glad that you guys let me stay with you for this last week. It's been just wonderful being here and just feeling like I'm like part of the family over here in South Carolina. And but yeah, the conference was just, it was so good. I mean, really, just I can't complain about anything. And yeah, it's just really the best tribe that we could ever have.
Yeah, it
Well,
really
what did
does.
you think about South Carolina in general? Walking around Spartanburg compared to walking around, is it the
It
Seattle.
Seattle area?
is, yeah, I'm up in Seattle area. It is so different. It's still about 99% people wearing masks in Washington, and so down here you'll see a few people, but not not anything like back at home. And we went and did activism on Monday, and so we were down in the courtyard area by the hotel, and we had quite a few people out there just having lunch and kind of listening. And the authorities tried to make us leave, but we wouldn't. And then we went down. We like half the group went down to a college nearby, and that was absolutely one of the most fun days of this whole trip, because we had about 20 flat earthers there, and we ended up with about 50 students around us, and they were all very engaged, asking wonderful questions. We gave them flyers and Dave's frisbees for his app, and they were very interested in what we were saying. And eventually the school got us to leave, but yeah, not before we talked to the kids for at least an hour. So it was really
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, I got to give a huge hats off to the activists. I mean, my God, you guys were absolutely incredible. Just Jack, Critical Inception, Authentic Intent. Oh, geez, just all of you guys that were out there doing that. Dottie, you were with them. It was incredible, and of course, Witsit was out there doing it as well, and he was here singing his songs, and it was really good to see Austin. But and he's actually still here in Spartanburg, so we're still going to hook up. He's going to be here for a few more days, which is nice. So we're still going to get to spend some time together. But yeah, you activists were absolutely amazing, and of course, even the police. I was amazed at how well. I think it was Authentic Intent that handled the police when the Spartanburg cops, came up and was, saying, "Well, yeah, trying to get you guys to leave," and basically they realized they didn't have any right to, right? And you just have to stand firm your ground and know your rights and know your legality. And they will try and bully you off, but if you know that you're right, they will eventually acquiesce because they know there's nothing they can do.
Well, yeah, all they can do is lie to you to try to get you to believe them. They can't, if you're not breaking the law, they can't make you. They know that now they know they'll get sued. Back in the day, they might have a few years ago. There's still probably a few cops out there that aren't aware of First Amendment audits and your First Amendment rights. But yeah, I mean, most cops are being told this now because of all the money that's being paid out to these people for suing. That, hey, you can't arrest them on a whim anymore. You have to have, a crime involved. And if you're not committing a crime, yeah, you just hold your ground. They're going to tell you have to leave. And you just say, well, no,
Right.
I'm on
And
public property and no, I'm not leaving. And
yeah,
they
that's
will.
what
They'll walk away.
happened. That's what happened in the courtyard. Is shortly after we got there, one of the cops came up and told us that we had to leave, and he he claimed that there was a some ordinance that prevented us from being there, and Austin was asking him to read that for everybody to hear, and he refused to do it. And so then Austin pulled up the ordinance on his phone and he read it, and there was nothing in there that said that we weren't allowed to be there. And at that point, the cop called for backup because he didn't. You could see that the programming in him snapped because he is so used to people believing that he is an authority figure that they have to listen to, that when we didn't, he's just flabbergasted on what he's supposed to do. You know, how is he supposed to deal with us if we don't respect his authority? And so yeah, he got the backup in there, and but there was nothing that they could do to make us leave. And I didn't see what happened after our group disbanded, because I know that there was a like district attorney or something like that that came back and was talking to Austin, and so I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, they really don't know how to handle it when you don't listen to them.
Yep. Well, or actually, you are listening to them and you're telling them that they're wrong. So,
Yeah, that's
it's
even
like,
worse.
oh, geez, heaven forbid, how could they be wrong? But they, yeah, I think overall they did pretty well. I mean, considering the venue was like virtually right across the street from the cop shop, right? I mean, the Spartanburg PD was right there on that corner. And that kind of blew me away. That was right there. And of course, everybody's out there, getting high, and you can, it smells pretty dank all around there. And they didn't seem to bother anybody about it. They just kind of.
We were across from the police station.
Yeah.
Like the police station was right across the street, and there's people standing on that street.
Is it not legal in?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, there are certain types of cannabis that are, but not the kind that has anything that'll make you high. Just the regular, I don't know, like the medicinal type of stuff.
CBD medicinal, yeah.
Yeah, cannabinoid medicinal, whatever it is. That's legal here, but not the normal stuff.
Wow, they'd have SWAT teamed us over here in the UK, I'll tell you.
You know what's funny though is they don't have any way to tell the difference. Any easy test that they can do on site that they can tell the difference whether or not it has that THC in it or not, which I can't believe. But I've heard it so many times. That's hard. It's just crazy.
But they still insist that you can have a mandatory, I think it's cocaine and cannabis test if you get pulled over in a car in the UK.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, they might as well test you for COVID. It's about as useful.
Yeah, might as well. So, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, that went really well. And, boy, there was just tons of stuff to do. People were going around and they went to the racetrack. They were racing these little kind of go-kart racers, which looked pretty cool. And
did anybody go bowling? I didn't even go down to the bowling alley.
I didn't either, and I wanted to go bowling. I never had time to. It's like, man, like I said, I couldn't walk 2 feet. But no, I don't know. I'm sure somebody did go bowling, but yeah, at least I know it's there, and it's really cool because it's like it's something like 18 lanes, or it's fairly small, but it's like got 18 lanes there, and they have skee ball and all that stuff. So I'm sure a lot of people were down there. So.
Yep. That was a super, super fun lounge. By the way, we switched over. I'm back to me.
I noticed. Yes. Cool. And
it was coffee delivery. It worked out really good because we got a slice of Dottie, who I love and who has been staying with us and gives a view of somebody coming in. So it worked out perfect.
Yeah. All right. We really enjoyed Dottie staying here. That's very cool. You always hear every week on Mark Sargent's, she's a call in, and it's just awesome to actually have her here in person. She came here and she loves to get up in the morning and go outside and sit in the backyard and overlook the river, because we have a river that runs through our backyard. It's really cool. And so she's been hanging there and really digging it. But unfortunately, I think she's going back, tomorrow or the next day? When's she going back? Soon. Too soon.
I think tomorrow, it could be the next day, but I think it was tomorrow on the ticket. She's in our chat, so I'm watching her type.
Oh.
So did anyone turn up that you weren't expecting?
Not that I am aware of. So
no surprises?
We did have a troll, and it was pointed out to me, but the whole thing is it was one of the trolls, and I knew where they were sitting and what they looked like. And people were really mad that this troll was here, but nobody could remember the name. Like what their name is under the YouTube is like, you're really irritating troll. So I'm sure we'll find footage from somebody that was trolling, but I don't watch I'm looking at him. I know exactly what he looks like, but I don't watch like the modern debate channels or the fight. I mean, I don't know any of these people, so I
No,
wasn't
right.
the person to put the name on it. And the person I was talking to was trying to remember. But we did have somebody there who was doing a little bit of argument, but let's base it. We had over 400.
No, I was thinking more of like Chris Van Matry, like popping up out of nowhere like he did before.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Or
Yeah,
Robert
I was,
Fasano turning up on the door and just sort of blending into the background or whatever. Or
I was
even
looking for the ginger wig, Savage. Savage always said if he ever turned up, he'd be in the background wearing a ginger wig.
I don't think I actually said that. I think that was someone else, but
It's okay, someone
it
else said
caught
it.
on.
Yeah.
Chris did turn up in my personal messages saying he would be anything to be there, and he's been super busy at work and he couldn't make it, and he was sad. He was going to try to make it happen, but it couldn't. But we did hear from him, and he's doing well.
I want to know what happened to Morgo. I
Yeah.
saw him. He was on the road. He was putting out streams. I was watching, and yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm not
crazy,
sure
guys.
where he's gone.
So we obviously, in case you hadn't noticed, we are conspicuously missing Morgile. I haven't been able to get a hold of him for the last couple of days, even though he did release a video. Was it
Today,
yesterday? No, it was yesterday or something like that. This one, October 26th. So it was yesterday. So he releases this video yesterday. And then, from what I understand, he was in like contact with Nathan Oakley, but I mean, then he just disappeared. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Nobody's heard from him. I had no idea that he was actually on his way to Flattoberfest. But that's what everybody's telling me, that he was making videos and on his way there. So I just don't know what to think. So if anybody has any idea what happened to him, spit it out in the chat and we'll see if we can figure it out, because he is not answering his phone.
Yeah, or drop in Morgo. We'd like to know the adventure, because I definitely saw him on the road. He had the dog in the back. He had Mina with him. Yeah, interesting. He's gone into the what was it, Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, no kidding. So anyway, because I wanted to talk to him about his new video, and he's got the interest of Nathan Oakley, and that's just so crazy. I don't even know if I want to go into that, the whole thing. Probably not. I don't really want to go into that. It gets so old. I get asked about it all the time, what the deal is between, the Oakley crew and me. And, if you don't know it by now, I don't know what to tell you. I have tried many, many times to reconcile with those guys, and they will have nothing to do with it. As far as they're concerned, I'm a shill. I support child rape. And, I am here in the Flat Earth movement exclusively to derail it, because I believe that there's a downward accelerative force present in all things. Well, if that is what it takes to, get me accused of all of those things, then I really don't want to have anything to do with people like that. And I think it's sick, frankly, but, what do you do? So I just try to ignore it and move forward. So there you have it. So, all right. So guys, we're actually trying to figure out, what to talk about today. Now, Conspiracy Music Guru did release a video, which I was surprised. If you guys haven't seen this, this was released at Flattoberfest, called
Awesome.
Big Pharma, and I cannot believe that he actually released this on YouTube and that they haven't nailed him for it. But I mean,
I can't
have you seen
he's
it?
still alive.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. It's an outstanding video. It really is. But
Are we allowed to play it, do you think?
oh yeah, we can play it. We can absolutely play it. So actually, well, let me play. There's another one that he had also. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play this. So if you guys want to hear it, we'll go ahead and play it. Because I don't even think you got a chance to see this, did you, Zach?
No, I didn't get a chance to see anything. There were people up there constantly. Sunday, I just went for a walk. I couldn't talk. My throat just started really hurting about, I think it was 2 in the afternoon, and I just went for like a 20-minute walk and didn't say a word just to let my throat settle down. So no, it was so busy up there with me and Cammie. I didn't get to see any of the stuff yet.
What the presenters don't understand is they all got ready for a presentation and they did it and they had an hour on stage and then they were free. What Zach and I were doing in the background were constant presentations, personalized to people on what they wanted to learn and feel, and hands-on where they got to induce an electrical current by running a magnet down an electric field, or the videograph generator, or working with, creating the dielectric planes and showing the charge potential, or with me, how polarized light works and anisotropic and holograms, and we were creating holograms and doing things there. But it was with us, like Bob had people lined up in a row to look at, and we were we had a little mob up there, the nerds, and I loved them. But yeah, we were definitely losing our voice. My voice is gone, but we went 24/7, and there was no stop and start for us. It was just all of the time, and it was so much fun. We survived it, and I'd do it all over again. I did sleep for over 14 hours straight. Yesterday going into the night before, but yeah, it's very intense and so much fun.
Yeah, big time. Okay, so
Cammie had real quick, Bob.
Oh, no
first
problem.
day, Saturday, Cammie had this lady, and she thought flat Earth was so stupid, and she, went through my little demonstration thing. She was like, "Okay, that's neat. All right, okay," but she sat at Cammie's table all day and just listened to Cammie present over and over and over again. She started crying and thanking Cammie at the end. I walked by her to go down the stairs, and she was just sitting there shaking her head with this big smile on her face, like, I can't believe this.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
So yeah, Cammie definitely touched some people for sure. People that weren't there as flat earthers, but left as a flat earther.
Yeah.
We got the entire Tulip Tree restaurant, thank you, where none of their tables got waited on because the crew was gathered around Cammie. It was kind of wrong, but it was cute. They were great, but they thought it was silly, and we have a lot more people looking into flat Earth because of these conferences, the way that we are all interacting. And I have to say kudos to how many great people showed up and didn't call people globetards and didn't call people stupid, but instead, when people are like, how can you believe that? Isn't that dumb? We're like, yeah, I get that. That's exactly what I thought. But if you just did a thought experiment and changed it around a little bit, that right now, lose all your preconceptions of shape and think that it's flat because that's what it looked like. Now be an adult with what you've learned about real physics and real life, and tell me, how does that water stick onto, just let all of that stuff go and take what you really, really understand and reapply it. They started saying, holy crap, when you piece it one by one. We had a whole bunch of people very intrigued. Thank you for the other people that helped me do the demonstration for the entire crew of the Tulip Tree restaurant. But we got in a friendly manner, the entire restaurant, all the customers and all the crew, like saying, that is so cool. And there's nothing that feels better than that. I think we made a difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, the activists were beyond belief. We captured so many people's attention, and so many more people are, beginning to open up to it. And I think because it's becoming familiar with them, and that combined with all the other crazy stuff that's going on in the world, people are just kind of going, wow, what the hell is happening? Maybe there is something to this flat earth stuff. And people are actually stopping and listening and interacting and then asking intelligent questions. And it really did my heart a lot of good to watch the college students interact with like Just Jack and Critical Inception and Authentic Intent and all those guys. That was just fabulous, to watch that, because they were truly engaged. And I have a feeling that they're going to continue forward with the research. And
this is the beauty of Flat Earth, is people know when they hear the truth. There's just a vibration to it or feeling to it that people just know. So unless their ego is standing in their way, which with most people it is, but it's one of those things. It's like they say, you don't need to defend a lion; it'll defend itself. Is
right? If you come at it humbly and not dominating on those people that are getting defensive on it, they'll maybe start to look at it a little bit differently. But just coming from, I see why you think it's stupid. If I, with everything we've been indoctrinated with, it does. But stop and separate it. Yeah. People are smart. People are really, that is something, groups of people are stupid, but people, when you're sitting down and talk to them, they're fantastically smart, bright, and awake. And kudos to my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina. I am so proud of this group. If you guys saw the pictures of our downtown area and all of the people eating at the things, we don't have masks. We have people hugging. This is
normal.
A normal place to be. It's a lovely, I'm really proud of my town and how open-minded people were.
I heard so many people saying that they were looking to move to this area now. Once they came here and saw that there is a place where it's not a bunch of zombies walking around doing the fluoride shuffle, they couldn't believe it. They didn't think that a place like that existed anymore.
Yeah. I had to tell you guys, it was weird how we wound up here, because honestly, I really had no idea why we came here. Ultimately it was because we had friends here, but the last place in the world I ever thought I would wind up would be in, South Carolina. But once we got here, and we began to realize that we were kind of just being led here, and we got here and we saw, politically, it's an environment where the federal government is not well liked. The state government rejects much of what the federal government tries to impose. Our governor is a rock star. He's actually really cool. I'm amazed. I never thought I would say that about any politician, but he is very pro. Well, if they want to take the vax, let them. If not, that's okay too. We're not going to force it, and they don't. And they also, basically make everybody a member of the state militia. So if you come here and you have assault rifles and stuff like that, people go around with their guns, wearing them in plain sight. They're really, people love their guns down here. And it's really
where
quite
I'd
awesome.
Be heading.
Yeah.
It's definitely where I'd be heading if I would ever to venture or get out of the prison island of UK.
Yeah, it really is.
Our governor, his stance is that, again, things should be decided, not even at the government level, but at the business level, that if you want to enforce masks, that's a business state, not a state, not a that. We're not allowed to have mandates at any level other than local here, because he says, as far as mandates go, vaxes and mandates, he will fight against them to the gates of hell. That's not his decision to make. It's people's decisions, not governments. And the fact that we have a government that says he's going to defend people's rights to the gates of hell, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's got people watching his back, is all I can say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've said that too, because people like that don't usually last long. Something happens to them, right? So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, I know Dave Weiss is looking at coming down here. Because the East Coast is definitely not where you want to be these days. And the West Coast, California, nowhere on the West Coast, really. Oregon, Seattle, really bad places.
How far inland east are you from the coast?
We're a couple hundred miles, 200-300 miles.
Right, 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. And if the hurricanes don't hit us, we get the remnants, but it's not we're not on the coast. We're up at 800 or 900 feet.
I'm thinking more of plummeting Canary Islands and things like that.
I've heard about that too. And in fact, I saw this thing yesterday.
Did you see the video? Yeah.
Yeah, the video where, they're talking about how it looks like the Canary Islands are actually being fed this energy, and it's, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they're hitting it with some sort of an ELF harp wave to try and, you know, get it to go on. And they're saying that basically if it does explode, you know, with the one of those super volcano type explosions, that it could literally create a tsunami that could wipe out the east coast of the United States. Now, obviously, I look at that two ways. One, well, it is erupting, and I would hope not, but I also realize that there's a lot of fear mongering going on, and that would be, you know, absolutely insane for that to happen. So I hope it doesn't, but it is something that people are looking at. You know, it's like
they have been looking at this for years. Though I remember Alex Jones talking about this, you know, 15 years ago.
That's what I was telling you, Bob, about it. That this isn't a new. Yeah, they've been talking about it for as long as I remember it, being able to do it and making that happen. I'm calling it fear factoring right now. I really am.
Yeah,
Not
I think
bullshit.
so. But
Yeah.
I mean, answer me. I mean, here's a remedial question, probably. So if you're in a lake or whatever, and you drop a big boulder in at the side of the lake, and it creates, I mean, the biggest waves are going to be in the immediate vicinity of that boulder, right? And then they're going to diminish as they go across the lake. I mean, they're
Right.
talking 50 to 100 meter waves, this enormous tsunami that's going to hit the east coast of America. Does that, I mean, wouldn't it have to start off being like 1,000-meter wave, like a kilometer
Well,
high wave?
No, it actually picks up most of its momentum in the middle because the wave is really stretched out. You know, you say,
it's a
yeah,
very
it has a
long,
big
low frequency wave.
but yeah, they're long, and then when they get forced and they have to go somewhere, those waves all build up on top of each other.
They attenuate. Yes, they exactly. They augment.
And the depth of the ocean floor, I presume, would exacerbate the size of those waves.
Yeah, and if it's being fed by scalar waves, then, you know, you have to kind of look at the way that scalar waves work. And I guess the best example, you know, for scalar waves would be to look at a set of dominoes, right? And let's say we have a line of dominoes, and every domino increases in height and size by about 25%. So you have a domino, you know, that just starts out as like, what, 2 inches, maybe that, you know, not even that, 2 inches high. And you tip it over and it goes to the next one that's 2.5 inches high, and so on and so forth. And, you know, by the time that you get, I don't know, to a couple 100 feet or whatever, maybe a few thousand feet, you are getting to a domino that could be 300 or 400 feet high, right? So that's the idea. So the initial energy topping it off is very small at the beginning, but then it grows by them feeding it with these resonant kind of punches, these resonant feeds. And it will actually cause those waves to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, kind of like the dominoes. And that's how scalar waves work.
And as Ian Adams puts in the chat right now, he's right. When it hits the shallow water, that's where it really builds up. So when you get into the shallow is where your waves can really build up quickly.
Hence surfing and yeah, I suppose. But yeah, looking at the seismic, when you zoom in on that little island, and the seismic eruptions are absolutely grid fashion. And they're all, I mean, I clicked on all of them, and they're all about 13 kilometers down. So they're all about the same depth as epicenter. I mean, obviously that could be easily faked, but it does look pretty suspicious, I have to say.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, you know, that's what they're talking about. That's what the buzz is. And, you know, I think a lot of this stuff will probably just slide by and nothing will ever come out of it, because I think a lot of it is just fear mongering, but you never know. I mean, they absolutely do have the technology to do a lot of this stuff. And of course, we've seen what they've been able to do with these lasers up in the Pacific Northwest. And it's absolutely amazing because they'll sit there and they'll burn out entire home subdivisions and the trees are left intact. Absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah.
And like I say, it's not as if they were literally threatening. It was in a threatening manner that they were talking about. In fact, I think someone one of the, was it, oh, maybe Ben Fulford or the Illuminatis or the Samurais or whatever the hell they were on about. They were talking about this years ago, about setting off a nuclear detonation under Las Palmas or whatever in order to flood the East Coast, and it was being used by factions as an actual threat. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It's been a long time since I've looked at any of the Leo Zagami and the Ben Fulford and all of that sort of malarkey. It was a bit Q-esque by the time I left it, I think.
Yeah, Benjamin Fulford, yeah. And Leo Dagan, yeah. Well, and those guys were all tied in with David Wilcock, and like I said, what I know about David Wilcock now is he's just an outright shill, point blank. Yeah. And that really breaks my heart. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, yes. I know that people are waiting for us to play this song, but before you play this song, can you put in the picture I dropped in the chat, the Skype chat? Because I wanted to just say the southeast corner of the world, what I like best about it. And if you show this picture, a picture says 1,000 words. Yeah. Right in your show chat.
The one that says, the one with me and what's his name?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, let me screen share right.
We'll screen share this one.
Well, this no, I'll just send it over here. Here, let's just do it this way. There, you guys should be able to see it now.
And it's on the screen for the people. What's really nice about this corner is I found another Bob. So if I ever get sick of my Bob, there's another Bob that lives right down the road. His name is Eric, but it makes it really easy. So Bob, if I ever get tired of you, there's Bob and not Bob. I'll just switch your name tags. But yeah, imagine not finding another Bob right here, just miles down the road. It was the bomb. I love Eric. He is one of our Kakalaki crew and helps put all of the conferences and stuff together. You met him at registration probably. Really wonderful guy. And he's not Bob, in case you guys don't know who's who. My Bob is on the left, and Eric, who's not Bob, is on the right.
Yep, I'm wearing the black shirt. So it's funny because I had to put my glasses on so he looked more like.
He puts that on his name tag. Not Bob.
Not Bob.
Maybe you can employ him, Bob, to field your questions as walking across the room while you slip around the back.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Okay, guys. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and play this video. I mean, what can they do except strike me for it? If they haven't taken it off of Alex's channel yet, then I don't know what they're going to do, but I suppose it's not really giving medical advice exactly. But it is one hell of a song, and I will warn you guys that the graphics in it are graphic, and it is kind of really sad to see this happening, but I think this is the kind of impact that people really need to see what's happening. So just be aware. And
children,
just beware, and let's go ahead and give the new conspiracy music guru called Big Pharma song a listen. Here we go.
There's a deadly virus out on the loose. So you best be scared, you best be protected. So roll up your sleeves and get your ass injected. Step right up, come and take my juice. They drop it like flies, don't you watch the news. If you don't take my juice tonight, you gonna get sick, you're gonna surely die. I don't mind if you're big, I don't mind if you're small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. Step right up, come and take my juice. Another variant, another boo. you healthy and your children too. My juice don't kill, that's a bunch of lies. If it happens to you, I'll censor your demise. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm, I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend, 'cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. Step right up, come and take my juice. If you criticize, I'll silence you. No way, nobody gonna ever hear. I'm gonna make sure that you disappear. Yeah, step right up, come and take my juice. I will pay the media to terrify you. 'Cause when you scared, you in the palm of my hand. Now you line up, and then you'll demand. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm, I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend, 'cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. Stand right up, come and take my juice. I'll shame and I'll blame if you simply refuse. I'll take your liberty, I'll take your rights, your body, my choice. Now ain't that just nice? Stand right up, come and take my juice. You have no choice and no excuse. Yeah, I will force if you don't comply. Yeah, take my juice or kiss your freedom goodbye. I don't mind if you big, I don't mind if you small. My juice so magic, one size fits all. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm, I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend, 'cause I know you'll be back again and again and again. I'm Big Farmer and I'm here for your health. Stop me, no harm, I just wanna help. My juice is free for you, my friend, 'cause I know you'll be back again and again and again.
Do not be ensnared. Do not surrender your bodies to these wolves in sheep's clothing, pretending to help you when the exact opposite is true. Do you really think they want you healthy when they are financially dependent on the sick? Do not let them deceive you into their medicinal temple of doom, protecting you to death with their ungodly toxic potions. You are not their experiment. Resist. Do not comply. Rise up!
Wow.
How powerful is that?
That he is absolutely amazing. When he goes into metal mode and really wants to drive it, he does it. Alex is absolutely amazing, and another powerful, super fantastic song by him. And I hope this really reaches a lot of people and hits them right where they think.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just so apt.
Yeah, it truly, truly is. So yeah, I really wish he could have made it out this year, but it's a big, big journey to go all the way from the UK to here. But he says that maybe one day, he'll come back and do another conference if we ever get to do a conference. But if not, he'll always be sending us messages and making little inserts. And speaking of little inserts, this year, this was great because you guys all know David Weiss's Flat Earth app, right? Well, there's always been this kind of running joke, and, you know, conspiracy music guru Alex and David are always jibing each other. And it's funny to watch them go back and forth in the GLOBEBUSTERS chat. It's, you know, they're always giving each other shit and just, you know, it's always friendly, but it's just always funny, right? So, along with the videos that he sent over this year, he sent over a personal message that was to everybody at Flattoberfest. And we're going to play that here in a minute. But this was absolutely hilarious because he goes after Dave, and, you know, in a very good spirited way. But the guy is just so funny. He's so incredibly multi-talented. There just isn't anything he can't do. You know, he can play any style of music. He can sing any type of voice. He's an incredible carpenter, artist. I mean, man, the guy is just incredible. I really admire people like that. They have it all. They have all the abilities.
His sense of humor is wicked good. I love it.
Yeah, to say the least.
He's a poly artist, not necessarily a polymath, but a poly artist.
And he doesn't have a big head at all about it. With all that talent and everything, he is a very humble person. You know, just quiet. Like, he sings and he's loud and his voices and everything, but when you talk to him, he's quiet. He's got an English accent. It blows your mind when you speak to
him. Yeah, we had such a good time when he went to Denver. He actually, you know, came to Denver, and he came to our house when we were still living in Denver, and we hung out there for quite a while, and he signed a whole bunch of CDs and stuff, which I still have a bunch of those. I need to figure out what to do with those because we still have a bunch of his CDs that he has signed. So maybe we'll have to come up with some sort of a little contest or something to give those away. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome. So let's get to this little message. This is really comical. It's only a couple minutes long, but I think you'll enjoy it because it's just damn funny. So here we go.
Hey, what's going on, people? Flat Earth Man in the house. Hope you're having a great time over there in Flattoberland. I would have come over myself, but I heard that David Weiss is going to be there, and I can't stand that dude. I mean, what's he ever done for the community? Nothing. What's he done? Make an app? Didn't even make that himself. Got some guy in India to make it for him. And everyone's like, oh, David, look at all those blue dots on the map. You the man. Pathetic. Hey, is that Sanjay? Hi, it's David Weiss. Hey, yep, they love the blue dots, man. They fell for it. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna need about another 5,000 dots, man. Is that okay? Can you do that? Great. How much they gonna be? $20? You're kidding me, man. I don't care how hungry you are, man. I don't care how hungry your family are. Just get it done, okay? Go get me some more blue dots. Go get me some more blue dots on my little map, on my crappy app. And I'm gonna get the money. I get some money. My name's David Weiss, and I don't care about you. I care about money, 'cause I am a Jew. Gotta get some more of those little blue dots upon my crappy app. And all of the dumbass flirters, they will fall into my trap. And I'll get money. I get some money. I get some money. The truth is not for sale, David. Okay, that's all from me. Have a great time in Flattoberland, and I'll see you next time. Oh, don't forget, buy my CD. Money, give me some money. Gonna get me out of that money.
Oh my goodness, that is just absolutely outrageous.
I laughed out loud like like 4 or 5 different times in that one. That was great.
I know.
Stay muted.
It was so cool, and it was funny because I happened to be sitting right next to David and Paige when they played this, and I was watching David, and he just had this ear to ear shit-eating grin, big old grin on his face, and he couldn't move it. And I thought Paige was going to completely lose it. She was laughing so hard. It's like, geez, Paige.
33% off. Hilarious. It's sad though that some people are going to take that and run with it. But never mind.
Yeah, no doubt. That's pretty crazy.
You can't please everyone all the time.
Buy my CD.
Buy my CD. And it is this CD, by the way, the Conspiracy Music Guru CD, that he was at my house signing that day. It was his very first CD. It was before the Sophageo one. And I still got to tell you, the Sophageo album, and I forgot what it's called, but something like that, is still my favorite. But that's entirely instrumental. But this, of course, has got all the great songs that he came out with, and they're all on his channel. You can listen to them all that way. But I think we still have like maybe 30 or 40 of them. So I think I'm going to figure out a way to, creatively give them away and just get them out there to you guys. I think it'd be pretty cool. So cool. I'm
Just
sorry.
assuming I know which box that they're in the house and all the piles of boxes we're still unpacking. But yes, we do. I will find them.
You're still unpacking? You've been there nearly a year, haven't you?
We have been, but the house that we were in was bigger than this house, and we're outside a lot by the river. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we do, and we're so guilty of that because our backyard is so nice. We just like going out there and hanging out by the river, and it's so not a lot gets done, at least not very fast. Thank God we have Zach, or we'd be in deep trouble. So there we have it. So all right, what else do we have, guys? So I was looking at a couple of other videos here. And I guess Awaranon, guys, is going to be coming out with some more videos here very shortly. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that. I can hardly wait. He kind of got discouraged after, all the bullshit that he was going through with, certain people in the community that were, starting crap with him and stuff like that. And, I don't know why people need to do that. I don't know why we cannot just get along. And, if you have a difference of opinion, deal with it. We're all supposedly supposed to be on the same side here. And whether somebody believes in a map that Pac-Man goes on and off of it or whatever, if they believe that and they want to make a case for it, they shouldn't be called out as shills or anything like that. Because you never know. I mean, let's face it, we really don't know what's going on. I mean, me personally, no, I don't subscribe to that model at all. But then again, the one that I do subscribe to is one that people say is literally impossible. And I think that, as I've said many times, I think that the AE map is the closest representation to the flat earth that we actually do have. Maybe some, variances on it, stuff like that. But as far as being able to work out the weather and the star motions and the sun and the moon and the eclipses, and the apparent position of the sun, these are all things that we can definitely work through. And I think we can come up with viable explanations. And remember, I mean, the Globers are saying, well, you don't have a model because, you have nothing, you basically have nothing that you have to show us because you don't have a model. It's like, it doesn't matter if we don't have a model, right? All we have to be able to do is explain certain, key factors that are going on within the flat earth itself. Like, for example, the eclipses. I think we have a pretty good model of how the eclipse works. And if we ever find somebody that has good graphic arts capabilities and can work with Cami, we'll actually get something like that out. Okay. But as far as, solving the mystery of how you can go from Santiago to Sydney, well, we've totally killed that one. And we've recently had it, even validated thanks to Wolfie 6020. But those winds aloft down there are super high in velocity, and once you get in those jet streams, then all of a sudden you can be going near or over supersonic speed, as happens quite commonly, a lot, right? So that takes away that little mystery about it. We've also found out, why east and west doesn't appear to be the same, and yet it is. And the ironic part is it's the globe that's actually wrong. You guys have all seen Jeranism's demonstration where if you go east on a globe, what you think is east, which you would think would be something that would be more akin to one of the latitude lines, no. Where east actually approaches the equator, right? So what's funny is if you draw east to a certain point and you're still above the equator, and then you go west at 270, so you go 090 east and then you go west 270, you would think that it would go back along that very same path, but you know what? It doesn't. It actually goes back down towards the equator again. And when you think about this is exactly how the ball Earth emulates what's happening with the flat Earth. And that's actually what's happening. It's the flat Earth that's got the right model, and they've actually had to make these changes in Google Earth to misdirect you about where east or west actually is, and then they befoozle you by calling it the Great Circle Route, which is a bunch of bullshit, right? So there's just so many things. And then when you talk about the Antarctica, if there is a 24-hour sunlight, guys, we know about crepuscular rays. We understand about let's see, what is the term?
Coffee cup caustic.
Yeah, the coffee cup caustic, exactly. The coffee cup caustic, which is something that will absolutely give you a very viable explanation, especially if you're dealing with a crystalline dome, right? And if you guys watched my presentation at Flattoberfest, then you will know that was what my presentation was about the firmament, and how that firmament, being a charged surface, also gives us our downward accelerative vector, right? AKA gravity. Even though it's not gravity, it's an electrical component, and it absolutely can be demonstrated because Zach has demonstrated it, and all you have to do is override the local field, which he has done. So I made that demonstration. So guys, we have a ton of examples. All we have to do is put them all together. And that, of course, is a bigger project than you might think. And, I don't have the video making skills to do it. There are lots of people out there that do, and it would be great to, have somebody at our disposal that could do something like that for us. So if you want to volunteer for something like that, give us a call, and, we'll definitely put you to work on a very worthwhile project.
Yeah.
I want to say this too on there. When they do this and say they have the working model on the globe, I want you to keep in mind, read their book, We Know Less Than 3% About Anything. They are employing anywhere that it doesn't work out, they're making shit up. So they employ gravity in a making shit up way. They employ dark matter. They employ dark energy. They employ neutron stars that has more mass than a teaspoonful of it. They make stuff up that you cannot replicate in reality, or even come close to replicating in reality, seen for 400 light years away in distance. Things that aren't going to ever happen in reality, they make up, and they call it a model. When you look at what's like people have been working on our model and putting it together right now, we have answers. When I say answers, we have realistic possibilities of how the eclipses can work, how all magnets could point to the center, how the pressure systems, we have different possibilities that we can't go out and touch, like on the star model. So we can't say that we know for sure this is it, but the fact that we're coming up with working possibilities that scale in reality, that answer all of these hard questions, and we're just 6 years into it, when they've had how long to back engineer and make, anytime they don't have an answer, the Lorentz contraction, please, that didn't answer. They shrunk metal, they shrunk the length of the contraption imaginarily in order to make their math work. In other words, they don't have a model. They have a bunch of things that don't work in reality that they say are the answers to their model, but when you piece it apart, none of the pieces work. At least as we're piecing things together, I can like replicate how the moon might phase perfectly naturally in time, and I can make it happen over and over again. We
It's
can make
just
things we can make things that the magnet always points north. They can't do that. It doesn't work with the dipolar their model. In other words, we're putting together pieces, but we're filtering them, each piece through reality, and we're testing them. So for them to expect that we have all of the pieces everywhere all put together is, I'm sorry, I hate to use the word, but that's retarded.
Yeah. Especially when it is the globe that is woefully lacking. It is the globe
Exactly.
that is missing the answers. It is the globe that cannot explain things, or the explanations that they do use are utterly ridiculous. So yeah, and so that doesn't really deter me at all. When I hear people say stuff like that, and they say, "Well, until you can show us your flat Earth model, you got nothing." It's like, no, not really. We have everything. You got nothing, and we know it. And the fact that we can simply see too far is in and of itself the biggest proof we need, right? And it's something that is undebunkable. You think, it amazes me that you guys think that your standard refraction is able to take care of everything that has curvature, right? It's utterly ridiculous because standard refraction doesn't cover anything. And in fact, let me find something here. Where is my Google Earth? Hang on a second.
I mean, it does become laughable after a time that they're claiming we don't have a model. And even if we use the AE model, and even if it's wrong, we can explain away things that we see in reality on the AE map infinitely better than they can explain anything away on their spinning ball model, so-called model. They scoff and laugh about the fact that they have a model, but nothing works on their model. Even the moon phases do not work on their model. So, yeah, it cracks me up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I tested it myself, and I've 716 feet. Is what I saw that should have been behind the curve. So I don't think there's any type of standard refraction that's bringing that back at 38 miles.
Just standard refraction is such an oxymoron in itself. It's like looking out over a bay at the other side of the bay, at the land at the other side of the bay, and having weather fronts coming in that are dropping rain or fog or whatever. Standard refraction. I mean, that's just a nonsense in an atmosphere that is continually changing.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
I'm going to address the chat really quick too, and them saying, do you think the magnetics, it's something that we were talking about in the background when we all talk about pole shifts and how they scare us to death and how they've read the magnetic changes, and it says it's changed so many times, and they're talking about turning the globe over. When we do pole shift, we seem to forget that we're not on the heliocentric model. And if you read your magnetics, again, on a flat model, and do your red and your blue, meaning positive and negative, and shift your poles, if you actually shift your polarity on a flat Earth model, do you know what it would do? It would change just the rotation. It would mean that all of our rotations would go the other way around. So a pole shift would just mean that the sun and moon, instead of going from east to west, would go from west to east, and the winds and the different flow patterns we get would reverse in that direction. It's not at all what it would be on a spinning globe or in a heliocentric model. It's quite beautiful on ours. We can
even on a spinning ball, wouldn't it be irrelevant because it's relative?
Right.
It doesn't matter
You're
what's
exactly
up,
right.
what's down, what's left, what's right. It would make no difference.
It would make no difference, and yet they fear porn you to Kingdom Come about if the pole shifts and it's going to turn the Earth, and it's like, no, that's not. If you take a dipole or a magnet, you can switch the polarity of it really easily just with an electric current or a stronger magnet to pull and shift the alignment. But it happens all the time. It's when you see the compass needle that's pointing exactly to the wrong where the red side gets there, it just means that compass got stored next to a strong magnet. It happens to my compasses all the time, where the polarity gets shifted on the needle. It's not a hard occurrence. All it does is it shifts the magnetics, but it won't throw us all up and around, or it won't it won't rotate the globe or do any of those things. So if they read a magnetic change, a shift in the magnetics would, on a flat model, be a whole different ball game in reality than what it would be in that helio. And it's so hard to get out of thinking in that model.
Yep.
If that makes sense at all. And that was for you, Stephanie, in the chat doing it, who's throwing the idea that we were just talking about. Hi, Stephanie Martin. Thank you.
Okay. And a couple of things I want you guys now, like I said before, and Jaron has pointed this out a few times in the past, and I find this absolutely amazing. And they call this great circle route. What a bunch of nonsense. But if we take and we go from this point right here, right, and right on this latitude line of 10 degrees, right, and we head east, which would be 90 degrees perfectly. So, and I go east and I go east and I keep going east. And if I need to get back to 90 degrees, it starts going down. You see what's happening here? Oops.
Yeah.
It's going lower and lower and lower, right?
Everything converges to the equator.
Everything converges to the equator.
South, north, doesn't matter where you are.
That's
Hence
right.
That's why everyone sees the sunrise at 90 degrees on the equinox.
Yep. And if you do it here, and if you go here, and you go, whoops, let's go ruler, and you go across here, and we try and do it at 90 degrees. Let's go down here to 90 degrees. There's 90 degrees. Okay.
And of course, this would work on flat Earth as well. If you went straight 90 degrees from anywhere, say in the Americas, then you would at some point dissect the equator because you're going in a straight line.
Right, because east and west are actually curving around
Circles.
the circles. Right. So if we went back from west to east, you would think then that it would go back to the exact same spot. So we went from 270 to 090. So if we go 090, it's down here, and we go back to 270. Oops. And there's 270. Look where it goes, right? So it comes from up here, goes down here, and where it's heading for is the equator, So that's utterly crazy. Now, as far as the standard refraction, well, where does that come from? Well, it comes from the idea that there's enough residual atmosphere to keep light bending down, right? But the problem is that can only happen in a flat Earth model, right? If it's even possible at all. Now, theoretically, a refraction will take place when there is a change in medium density. And typically, when it goes from low to high density, it will pull the light in the direction of the denser medium. Okay, so if you're on a flat Earth and you're looking east or west or any direction, and you're looking level, well, it doesn't matter how far you look. You're looking through more and more atmosphere as you go forward, but it's not actually increasing, right? So it's not increasing, so you really shouldn't be drawing it down or drawing up. But on a ball, if I say I'm standing at the North Pole up here, right? If I'm up here on the top of the ball and I'm looking out west, right, to the west, or I shoot a laser to the west, and I come out here and I'm way above here and I'm perfectly level. Well, now I'm several hundred or several thousand feet, if not miles, up in the air, right? Which would indicate that this would be a less dense medium, not a more dense medium. So the globe, by its very nature, makes it impossible, really, to have a downward refracting light, except in very, very special cases. It's always the exception rather than the rule. And the ballers would have you believe that it's the rule. And there is nothing there to justify that as the rule. I mean, it's absolutely wrong, dead wrong, and it's crap, So
yeah, it should be refracting up.
Yeah, if
And
anything,
when we're
but
talking, sorry, Bob.
oh, go ahead.
I was just when we're talking refraction, and different colors refract at different angles. And when you're talking about long distances, I mean, we could test this. I just had this thought. We could test this real easy. If you had red, blue, green, yellow, a bunch of colored lights, maybe 10, 20 miles away to where you could see them with the camera easily, they should actually, if refraction is if there is any standard refraction, all of those lights should be at different elevations. They should look like they're actually at different elevations because the refraction should be bending the different frequencies at different angles.
You have some of those experiments with you, and it was doing that a little bit for the people doing the lights and dropping. I think it was Grotto one. Was dropping the lights and going over the ice, and the different lights were with the wavelengths picking up a little bit differently, Zach. So there might even be starting work on that.
Yeah, no, he had his set at different.
Bob, can you go back to that picture a minute? Can you
Which
go
picture?
back to the globe picture, the one that you had on with the lines?
Yep. Hang on just a second.
Because why we had this back up here, I wanted everybody to, because one of the things people do is they draw the right triangles and say that's proof that we live on a ball. I want everybody to pay really close, like when he talked about 270 east and west and how the lines worked. If you pull up and do it, you'll find out that, notice they're different. They're great circles going north and south and slices going east and west latitude. So you're creating your little curved lines. If you actually took your lines going longitude and did slices like latitude, that would give you, in other words, a way that your lines would meet. But the way that they're drawing the curved lines on to the ball, connecting them at the top and the bottom, again, your longitude and your latitude lines work entirely different in space. And do you understand what I'm saying? You might want to explain it better, but when they can draw the perfect right triangles on there and call that proof, it's only because they're using imaginary lines and not true directions.
Exactly.
You saw what the true directions did when you put them on the ball. What happened when you went 270 degrees, you'll see it went down to the equator. They're making geometry based on the illusion of the way that they drew curved lines against straight lines on their picture.
Well, it's much like what they do with Coriolis effect, right?
Right.
You know, how they try and tell you that Coriolis is this actual effect that will divert footballs. It's like, no, Coriolis is an optical illusion. It has nothing to do with actual deviation of anything. And that is so amazing to me that the ballers cannot get that through their thick heads, that it is an illusion, and it is even defined that way. Right? You go to Wikipedia and it tells you it's an illusory force. It's not real. But yet they will try and tell you, Neil deGrasse will come on and tell you that, well, it's, you can kick a football and just because it hit that upright, thank God for the spin of the earth. Nonsense.
The
whole thing.
Yeah. If you took the picture you had on the screen right now and see how you'd make it to the top and the bottom where all the lines come together in great circles, and you drew them side to side and did east to west, you'll find out that your east to west would work the same as the north and the south. And again, all of your lines would meet at the equator, just like they meet at the tip here. It's the way reality works, but they just drew imaginary lines, and we get caught up on those imaginary lines thinking that, oh, well, no, they're drawing straight lines. They're not. Again, if you keep 270 west and that and you draw your lines, we spend too much caught up with the illusion that they made for us. So when you're looking at that, take away their imaginary lines a little bit. That's just what they are, is not real.
Yeah, imaginary line. Of course, everything with the globe is imaginary. They deal in relatives, right? Relative this, relative that. It's like, it's so stupid. They'll try and tell you that nothing is really moving. Nothing is really sitting still because everything is relative to each other. All that is a way of obfuscating and confusing the crap out of people, because obviously there is absolute motion, but because of the fact that nobody in the history of mankind has ever been able to detect the motion of Earth, not even me, guys, sorry to disappoint you.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. It's just utterly ridiculous. What they have to do is come up and tell you that, well, it's because it's all relative. That's why.
whenever we're looking at a sphere or anything they depict as this blue marble in space, all you're seeing is reverse engineering of reality, which is a stationary flat plane. It's just reverse engineering, and not brilliant reverse engineering at that, because
No, not at all.
it doesn't answer so many questions it gets wrong.
Yeah, like for like another example that they reverse engineered that they did a shitty job at is the Selenelian eclipse, right? So you've got the Selenelian eclipse. Well, how do they explain that? Well, they say that because the atmosphere is up there, what it's doing is it's refracting the sun and the moonlight's position down 5 degrees, and therefore it then allows the eclipse to take place. But the problem is that the eclipse should be taking place from left to right, and instead, when you actually look at a Selenelian eclipse, it takes place from top to bottom. Well, how the hell do you explain that in an azimuthal-based eclipse? You can't.
And it's like everything that they can't explain. They have to resort to fairy dust, like refraction, diffraction, and rising up and lowering. For anyone who's a Selenenian, I always call it a Celine Dion or whatever.
Celine Dion.
But it's when you've got the sun and the moon above the horizon at the same time, and an eclipse is taking place. It's a lunar eclipse, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Selenium.
It's been recorded over 55 times from the Royal Observatory.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually on YouTube.
Poor
We've had
bloke.
flat earthers record it.
I feel sorry for that bloke who did that film. He was just so dumbfounded. He was trying to explain it to his girlfriend, and he's sitting there with a big hoodie on, and yeah, it's hilarious.
He's like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this?
Isn't that weird? I'm sure there must be an answer for that. I'll just go and look it up on Snopes.
Yep. And, and Zach, you were talking about, the 2017 eclipse, and we'll talk about that for sure. But, we went and we saw that. We went to a place out in Nebraska where it was absolutely 100% in the path of totality. And so we camped out there for a few days, and we actually launched a balloon during the time of the eclipse. And it was absolutely amazing. And some of the things that we saw that didn't jive with what you would have thought would have been happening in a heliocentric type of eclipse, even for then, was that when it went dark, when it finally hit totality, the temperature dropped like 10, 15 degrees instantly. And that was really bizarre because, that doesn't happen that way when the sun goes down. It doesn't go down like that rapidly or anything like that. And the other thing is we could see the stars come out, and we were looking up at the sun. And if we were in a part of the earth that was in absolute darkness, which we were, because it was pitch black outside, we should have been able to see Earthshine with our naked eye. We should have been able to see Earthshine shining off the moon. What is Earthshine? Well, Earthshine is you still have the sun that is shining on 99.95% of the rest of the Earth, which has an incredibly high albedo because of the oceans, right? So it's reflecting damn near as much sunlight back as is hitting it, right? And remember, think about this for a second, guys. If the sun is getting to Saturn, right? And it's like, 1/100th the relative size, from Saturn's point of view, and is 10 times dimmer, right? How are we able to see it here 1 billion miles away when our sun is, going through an eclipse, and we have 99% of the Earth's light shining back onto the moon, and we can see absolutely no moon. The moon should be lighting up, right? We should be seeing that, and we didn't see it at all. And we tried to, you can see people that actually do this that will sit there and say, oh yeah, we worked for hours. In fact, we even had Soundly come on with his phony baloney capture. And he said, oh yeah, it took me hours and hours and hours to do this. So I said, oh really? Let me check them out. So while we were on air, right, if you guys remember, I took those pictures, and I think it was like 5 minutes, and it took me like 5 minutes to bring the light out, right? And it was so obvious. Then Mike Helmick got a hold of it, and he goes, what they've done is they've embedded the moon image into the green channel, right? So I mean, why do they need to do stuff like that if it's all legit? And the reason is because it isn't legit. There is no moonshine, or earthshine, I should say. There is no earthshine in the moon, and there absolutely should have been, especially with the proximities that we're dealing with here. The moon is a quarter of the size of the Earth, and not very far away, relatively speaking. And therefore, we should have seen, as the moon was approaching, going across the sun, we should have seen it lit up very, very well. But what did we see? We didn't see Jack except black. So we saw Jack Black.
Now, what's interesting too is at the conference, I was talking to somebody that was in the military prior and doing things, and they had these glasses that had a blue filter on them for night vision and day vision on it, and they took them away from everybody, including the top brass, because people were seeing things they weren't supposed to be seeing somehow by this filter. Started out as you could really look up, but I found that really fascinating that somebody actually had seen through these, and they all got taken away and hidden and destroyed, and nobody is looking through these. I want to talk with this person more about this, but what you're talking about in filtering and seeing things brought that up from the concert, and that little bits of information we get filtered into us.
Yep.
Zach, did you talk to her at all, or were you in on that conversation?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember that.
So, Zach, I wonder if Josh Corey's got some interesting equipment at the place he works that might show certain things in the night.
Maybe. I know most night vision, even for our military, is made in Russia. I've looked into it because I was looking for red night vision, but they don't even make that.
A lot of it's military only.
Yeah. A lot of it is military
Jay
only.
Tolan Media found that out really quick. And he was even working for the Defense Department at the time, and he wasn't able to secure any of it.
I mean, can we back engineer, night vision goggles from the 60s or 70s from the Russians or whatever, and just find out what's in them? And I mean, these days you must be able to get all the components for $5.99 from China, surely.
Probably.
I have night vision monocle. I just don't dare take it apart because it's working.
Yeah, they're not cheap. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things like that can be done. But I mean, it's funny because somebody asked in the chat, somebody said, where is it? Let me find it. Do you think we'll ever find evidence that is too strong to be ignored and the mainstream will finally admit the Earth is flat? Well, the mainstream's never going to admit the Earth is flat. And we have already found virtually every piece of evidence that we have is too strong to be ignored. With the hundreds, if not thousands of observations, the laser tests, the failure of motion,
everything.
Bob, everything. It's unbelievable, guys. I mean, there is so much. It is so voluminous. I sound crazy going on and on and on about it. My God, it's just huge. It's maximum. And it really is.
I was thinking the same thing recently. I was thinking, I'm just wondering if there's something that they know is coming, like signs in the sky, say, that would make it undeniably obvious to everyone that the heliocentric model is a fraud. And therefore, and we know the domino effect from that being that if you truly understand that you've been lied to about what you're living on, then you can truly understand that you've been lied to about everything and anything. And I'm just wondering if they know there's some sort of celestial, and I'm going all woo here anyway, this is complete theory. It's not, there's no test involved here. But yeah, whether they just know there's a time in history coming up that's going to show us something that will just wake everyone up. So between now and then, they have to kill as many as they can, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the
crazy.
lion has been released, like you said earlier. There is no putting this. We could stop this tomorrow. It might take a little bit longer, but it's out there among the people now. I mean, people that have never heard of don't even watch YouTube, know about flat Earth. I mean,
Yeah,
it's out.
it's out there.
They're trying damage control, and these are death throes, and yeah, that paradigm is slowly dwindling away.
Yep. But, they're doing their best. They're doing everything they can do to keep us completely isolated. Like right now, I'm broadcasting on 3 platforms, and we've got maybe a little over 500 people. And of course, it wasn't just a year and a half, 2 years ago. We were pulling down nearly 2,000 live viewers just on YouTube, right? And then we found out that when we went to DLive and just kind of made that transition really quickly, we were already doing 2,000 plus views on DLive. So it's absolutely incredible how they managed to keep us, throttled back. And then of course they fill the search engines with complete bogus and, bogus videos that supposedly debunk everything in flat Earth. But it's all they have. It's all they have. That, character assassination, shaming, fear-mongering, threats, false science, pseudoscience, you name it. I mean, they have it guns a-blazing the whole time. That's all they've got. It's pretty sad.
And yet there were more new faces at this festival than I think I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So many brand new faces. And it's catching on everywhere. I mean, there are literally millions of them in other countries. And of course they will want you to believe it said, but that's one of the methodologies, right? They want you to believe that nobody is protesting anything to do with the pandemic, right? So they don't show it. They don't show the millions of people that are protesting all over the world that are standing up against this. They don't want you to know that because they want you to feel isolated. And, the reality is there are millions upon millions upon millions of flat earthers. Hell, there's like something like 6 or 7 million in Brazil alone. And then there are other countries that have never even come away from that. They still believe as a matter of routine that flat Earth is absolutely the reality of things. And, we taught it ourselves up until the turn of the century in 1900. We were still teaching the flat Earth at that time. So for them to be saying that, first it was 500 years ago with Christopher Columbus, then oh no, it was Aristophanes, now it goes back over 2,000 years. It's all bullshit. And you can't verify any of this stuff. It's absolutely unverifiable. So there you have it. Pretty crazy.
Wow, Bobo. Okay. On David's app,
Mm-hmm.
there was, I think, 36
Mm-hmm.
in the 50-kilometer area from here.
Uh-huh.
It's Wednesday. There's still 81 blue dots. Now, I wonder how many of those blue dots are actually going to be leaving. I know a couple of them are for sure. There are people that have extended their, the weekend and made it a 5-dayer. But I bet we made more blue dots with this festival here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me answer a question really quick in the chat. Karim says, GLOBEBUSTERS, is Flattoberfest available to watch online in full? I couldn't join since I'm in the other side of the planet. It is on Rockfin on Karen B's channel. I will be posting my particular... I was thinking that we could watch it together today, but it's getting a little bit late right now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a good download copy of it, and then post it up for everybody to watch, for free. And then everybody can see it that way, and they'll get to see my presentation, which, I think was pretty good. People really liked it, and it was basically about the firmament and a lot of the evidence that we have for the firmament. And I know I've covered a lot of it on YouTube on the GLOBEBUSTERS shows, but I did get a chance to go into it in depth, and then I tied it to this downward accelerative vector, this downward accelerative force, which absolutely is there, and kind of took it forward from there. Because it's amazing, Guy. We know that this is a created place, right? And there is enough evidence we have enough evidence about what's going on with it, and primarily that evidence would be the 100 volts per meter graduated voltage that takes, it goes up 100 volts per meter, right? And it's been measured all the way up to 50 kilometers, and it likely goes up to 100 kilometers. And of course, at 100 volts per meter, that would give it a total electrostatic charge potential of 10 million volts. Okay. So wow. What happens if you guys have ever watched Zach's videos with his electrostatic generator? He is able to take two Gaussian surfaces, and that's what we're saying is going on with the flat Earth. You have the ground and you have the firmament up above, and apply a charge to them. And what you will get is a gradiated electrical equipotential lines going across there, right? So mainstream,
just like we read in reality.
Yeah, just like we read in reality. Mainstream provides us this information. In fact, it was Richard Feynman that originally came out with this information. You cannot have something like that without having two Gaussian surfaces, especially with that perfect of 100 volt per meter. And it's all over the world, right? You would think that if it was being caused by what the mainstream tells us it is, and they tell us that it comes around because of radiation, ultraviolet and X radiation and gamma rays and stuff like that are coming in and hitting our magnetic shield. Sorry, that doesn't produce a stable gradiated voltage. That would produce a spike. Every time we got a hit, we'd see these spikes going on. And what we have instead is 100 volts per meter, steady all day long, up as high as we can see. We have evidence of it everywhere. We have sprites and elves, which are discharging up and hitting something. We have the sodium layer, which they're making artificial stars off of. Like what the hell is a sodium layer doing at 63 miles, and why does it happen to be there? And also to have enough density that they could just start drawing stars in it. That is so freaking absurd, right? There's no way that would ever happen. And it doesn't make any sense in a ball Earth, but it makes perfect sense in the flat Earth model. And we have all the evidence in the world to prove it's there, including government documents, right? And that's another thing, guys. Let me see. Everybody at the conference wanted me to make those particular documents available, the government documents. Let me see. So it's tinyurl.com / I think it's gov fe docs, or it's the other way. Yep, there it is. GovFE docs. So let's post that in the chats if you guys would do it. So it's https://tinyurl.com /GOVFEDOCS. Control A, Control C. All right, there it is in the YouTube chat. Let me post it in the DLive chat. And here it comes in the DLive chat. And now let me put it in the Rockfin chat, last but not least. So there they have it. Those are the military. Of course, those documents have since disappeared. Off of, offline. You can't really get a hold of them anymore, but fortunately I've been collecting them for years. But again, that's just more and more evidence that I added on there. We looked at all kinds of stuff, and it is absolutely mind-boggling how much information there is that we have these things. You know, we have walls in space that shouldn't be there that appear to be Star Trek-like shields. We have universities like MIT and Colorado State University saying, what the hell is this? Right? How can this be here? It's like a solid glass wall in space. Well, because it is. Okay? Because it is. And there's all the evidence all day long to prove that it's there. And that very same structure that we get that from gives us the firmament. Now, and it doesn't matter whether it is a dome or it's an infinite plane, because at some point, the only reason I tend to think that we are in a dome type of enclosure is because you have a consistent air pressure. So you can't be infinite if you have a consistent air pressure. You have to have a container. The container has to have walls, right? We have a very consistent 14.7 psi pressure of atmospheric pressure that is there, and that's the only reason I tend to go with that. But for those of you that believe in the infinite plane, I suppose that's possible. I'm just not sure how that problem is resolved in keeping the side pressure in, right? But whatever. So
yeah, there is a way to reconcile both by just saying the dome part is the magnetic part of it and the flat part is the dielectric inertial plane. That the two coincide and are not necessarily the same. Again, there are easy solutions on it where if you call those different components instead of the same, that we have our dome and we have the inertial plane, they work together in harmony. It doesn't need to be one or the other. They're both there, and when you put them both there, it actually works the best.
Yep.
In reality,
but
it's
when
what we read.
But when we look at these documents, guys, we see in 1949, even as late as 1949, we had no idea, right here, the physical surface of the Earth. But since the shape of the Earth is not known, right, without knowledge of the shape of the Earth, so they didn't know what the shape of the Earth was back there, and they were kind of seeing it as somewhat of an ellipsoid, right? And thinking that, even this is probably an exaggeration, but the ellipsoid, this part of the ellipsoid, that I can agree with. I just don't necessarily agree with any depth down here, but this is going all the way back to 1949, right? And they talked about, all these, they have to do all their observation and everything is assumed on a flat Earth. They talk about how they measure it. They measure the brightness of the firmament, locating it at very zenith distances. I mean, all this stuff is out there, or at least it used to be out there, but we still have it. They talk about different techniques to measure this firmament. Absolutely crazy, right? We have it all. I mean, there is so much evidence. And again, where is the ball Earth evidence? They cannot even prove R. They cannot even give us R. They cannot tell us where the radius of the Earth is gleaned from. They would try and have you believe that, some old crazy guy, Aristophanes, and, got it by sticks and wells and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, then when it comes into their refraction, then they conveniently forget about the refraction at that point. But boy, when you can start seeing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 500 miles further than you should, well, that's all refraction, right? That's all about refraction. That's what it is. Sure. Makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. You cannot see through the Earth. And there is no evidence for the Earth. It's just absurd to even go there. So, and I'm probably getting on my horse again too much here.
No, but you're right. And you saying that you save all these documents, I need to start practicing this more. I have so many times found things and then gone back to get them just like a week later and they are gone. They are really, I don't know if they have algorithms that once somebody searches something or this and that, maybe, I don't know. But
they do. Absolutely, they do.
Disappearing like crazy.
Because the CIA is fully aware, and the government agencies are fully aware that when they release things through freedom of information, that they cannot possibly edit all of it, right? They cannot catch it all any more than NASA can catch every little space bubble or every little green screen glitch or anything like that out of their videos, right? So what they will do is they will look for extremely high traffic that surrounds those videos or those documents and stuff like that. And then they will say, uh-oh, that's got a problem because people are starting to go after it, and they'll strike it down. And then they'll take it off of the Wayback Machine as well, the Internet Archive. And of course, all this stuff, a lot of this stuff has been taken off the Internet Archive as well. So yeah, if you come,
I don't know if you just have a knack for it, because I live with my husband and I watch him do it, but he'll like be looking at something and instinctively downloading the document, and it will disappear a few days later. So I don't know if they're looking at what you're downloading, or if you just have the instinct to download the stuff that they want to get rid of, Bob. But you're amazing without even thinking, automatically grabbing when it feels like it's going to disappear. I'm always impressed with your instinct on that.
Yeah, and I do. It's, I don't think they're watching me specifically, but I do. I can look at something and I can say, there's no way this is going to last long, right? And anytime
there was like 30 or something hard drives that you have,
yeah,
like stored away, just probably filled with this kind of stuff.
I do, and I need to go through them someday and I don't know, just archive them onto one master database on something. But yeah, over the last 6 years, I have retrieved a crap ton of information that has been subsequently removed, and that includes a lot of you guys' videos. I've archived a lot of people's channels that have been deleted, a lot of the good stuff that's on there, and I'm just always doing stuff like that because, again, they're watching us to see what we're going after, and so that they can delete it, right? So if you come across it, assume it's not going to be there very long and download it.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, I'm back. They obviously didn't like what I said last. I'm joking, but I just had 3 Skype reboots, PC reboot, an update, everything. I've been in and out. I didn't know if you noticed, but
no. Yeah, Microsoft always likes to do their reboots at the most bizarre times.
Luckily, I've got 2 computers here, so
yeah. But yeah, so if you want those, like I said, I put those links in the chat. There you have it, and we'll put them in the show note also as well. But yeah, so gosh, guys, that's really, I don't have a whole lot more stuff, and I wish Sean was here because I really wanted to go over some of this stuff with him. I did. There are some very interesting posts in Facebook about it. And oh, by the way, ODD was amazing at the Flattoberfest. He has all kinds of brand new music, and he's kind of taken on more kind of like a rock type of rap, which I like. I really like that. I thought it was amazing. So he's definitely being progressive and doing a great job.
Yeah, he had a bunch of new songs.
Yep.
He is really putting them out there, and yeah, he's been at it. He's been working for sure.
Yep.
Is he related to Morgal? He looks similar.
Who, Matt?
Yeah.
No, I seriously doubt he's related. I mean, Morgal is Italian. I think Christophilus is Italian, so I could be wrong though. But yeah, these are just some really good pictures. It's awesome. Wow, how the hell did I get in there?
That was everybody's favorite Dottie, who was on the show with Matt in that picture, by the way, that he had up. Who was talking on the show earlier, talking about Flattoberfest. She's right over in the next room.
That guy on the right with the black hat, that was Chris. He was an electrical engineer, and he tries showing people the GLOBEBUSTER videos and the videos we've done together about electricity and stuff like that, and they don't care. They're like, yeah, I want to know, I put this wire here, I put this wire there, I don't get killed, and I go home and I get paid. That's all they care about.
Yeah, they really don't. But others do. Others actually do, and others actually pay attention and want to know more about their field of so-called expertise, right?
Chris, by the way, that person you just had up, if there was one person that made it worthwhile for me to be there the entire time, is Chris, your electrician. He's ordering the polarizing filters and all of the stuff on my table. I sent him links to it. He's explaining it to all the other electricians he works with. On the magnetics running the 90% perpendicular to the field and how you can Faraday affect it out in that. We became nerd buddies, and his little Amazon basket is full of different things for him to demonstrate with all the people at his offices and other electricians. So thank you, Chris. That made it worthwhile to put it out in the field and these people to see what they're doing and what they don't see and what they're not teaching them, because they know exactly how to apply it. Anytime you have an electric field, which they teach them about, if you rotate it 90 degrees right hand rule, you have the exact opposite going on with the magnetic field. And we were showing what it did to light. Chris and I got to be very, very, very good buddies. He's a true curious nerd brain. I loved him, and again with the electric engineer friends and that he's gonna have some fun with it. So it's good times.
Very much so. So here's something that's kind of cool. One of the pictures, of course, that we're looking at, coffee cup caustic, right? I talked about that, and that's something that this is an explanation. If you have a dome, you're going to see things like this, right? But you have to have an outside containing field. Well, look at this, guys. Look at what we're seeing here in all of these. Look, take a good look at this, right? And then take a look at this and all these different variations, iterations of it and how it works. There's even an app that you can get to mimic these precisely, these coffee cup caustics. But isn't it this to me looks like the Jesus Christ Superstar symbol. But again, we have a point of light is here, but what it's doing is it's using the reflective surface of the inside of the coffee cup to bring the light around to the opposite side. So you have daytime without sunlight, right? And that is exactly what is going on at the South Pole. We do not have 24-hour daylight with sunshine down there all the time. It doesn't happen. Never has. And in fact, we have uncovered multiple frauds. People trying to CGI it, Photoshop it in, all this stuff just doesn't work. But when you get pictures like this, right? And these are taken from all over the plane. This is the exact same type of thing that's happening that tells you and tells me very clearly that we are within a contained crystalline dome of some kind. Now, I could be wrong, but I think this is pretty damn strong evidence for things like that. It also explains to us why we have an air pressure, and why our air doesn't go blowing off into the vacuum of space, because space is not a vacuum. In fact, I believe that space is probably water, but who knows?
If it looks like a dome, it quacks like a dome, it acts like a dome, then it probably is a dome.
Probably.
Right. Why our theories are theoretical, and they are theories because we haven't touched it. We know the difference is our theories have the filter of reality to them, meaning we can scale them down. We can actually see, does it work in reality that way? That's the big rule of thumb is we're not just inventing things out of nowhere.
You can test your theories.
We can test our theories.
You can't test dark matter and gravity waves.
Right.
You can test a coffee cup caustic reflection off a surface and show that it could quite easily give you sunlight or daylight without sun.
Exactly. So why do we know it's exactly happening like this? No.
And the
but
ferrocell.
Is it possible and easy it's happening this way? Yes. And the ferrocell to see yes. Go ahead.
No, like I say, the ferrocells you can manipulate it. You can take out the variables. You can play with it.
We can
the same.
We can replicate our patterns that we're actually seeing and flying by. We can replicate magnetically, which they can't do with the dipole with molten iron core. or even a Helmholtz. I mean, we can
Yeah,
show
yeah.
our field the way that we act in reality to them, not the way that you have to invent stuff to make it work. So,
And I'd say someone who's on the very same wavelength as this would be Lucas L.C. King, with his battery model of the world in terms of being able to show how it works and being able to test it to a certain extent as well. But that's probably another completely different show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, we have all the evidence in the world, and the ballers have absolutely nothing. That is why all they can do is resort to obfuscation, just telling big stories about everything, and character assassination, shaming, on and on and on, and just making up utter bullshit. That's the thing that kills me. And some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth, it's like, did you really just say that? Are you kidding me? But they don't care. They don't care. As long as it proves their point for that moment in time, they don't care what they're saying, because they have no logical recourse to show that, what they're saying has any veracity to it. They have no case to be made. So they're essentially becoming wizards at just talking bullshit.
Well, they know their audience don't care either. They're like the tabloid press of the ball earthers, that they know that their audience is only going to read the headline and not the story, and go any further into it. So, yeah, they don't care.
Yep. So, yeah, I totally agree. So, anyway, okay, guys. Well, I think we're going to probably go ahead and cut the show off, because we definitely did miss Morgile, and that was, I was counting on him for some information, but I don't know what happened to him. So if anybody hears from him, tell him we're looking for him. But in the meantime, I'm going to obtain a copy of my presentation off of the Flatoberfest, or excuse me, off the Rockfin site from Karen Bees, and put it up on probably GLOBEBUSTERS and make it available so you guys can at least check that out. I think that would be nice. And yeah, I think that'll probably do the trick. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we call it a night?
I've got tons of stuff, but I can't do it here.
Okay. Well, alrighty then. There you have it.
But good show. Good to be back. And see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Real quick, I had a lot of requests from a lot of parents asking for more content for their children and things that they could show to their children's friends' parents, to where there won't be swearing or something that can grab a child's attention. So if you're good with video editing or drawing or anything like that, think about that. If you don't know what to do and you're not sure what to make videos about, there's a lot of basic stuff out there that the information's really easy, and you could make stuff for children.
Could I suggest GLOBEBUSTERS 24/7 channel?
Yeah, that's not bad, but Bob gets technical. There's a lot of technical stuff on there that's a little bit above their heads. I'm thinking more along the lines of cartoon pictures doing things, and
they have NASA for that.
Yeah.
I get you, for the kids specifically targeted.
Yeah,
Yes.
stuff for children, specifically just for children. Super clean, good, and educational, teaching real.
Do you remember
Really
that Christian guy who with a baseball cap that reverted back to the ball, apparently, after saying that he would never revert to the ball?
Oh,
and
Tiger
if he
Dan?
did,
Tiger
Dan, there you go. All of Tiger Dan's videos were absolute classics. I downloaded them and I've got them saved.
Excellent. And then he just disappeared into thin air.
Didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely disappeared into thin air. And he ever said, if I ever do this, if I ever revert, that somebody got to me. And it would have been one thing if he would have reverted and then stayed online, right, and kept up with that. But he reverted.
Well, he was
and
going
he
to,
bailed.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
He said he was going to release 12 videos why he went back to the Globe or whatever. But yeah, Tiger, I know you're out there. I know you're listening. Get in touch, mate. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's your real name or whatever. Just, I'd know that accent anywhere. But yeah, I'd love to know what happened.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, wow. Dr. Bass Ackwards has been banned on the 24/7 channel for some reason. I will look at that, Dr. Bass Ackwards. I don't know why you would be banned, but I will find it and unban you if that is the case. So I should have that done here shortly after the show. Oh, and David Weiss is sending us something. Oh, yeah. David Weiss says conspiracy music guru for kids. I'm confused. And he sends this picture. This is kind of funny because Dave's wearing a shirt that says Flat Earther and Austin's wearing one that says that's retarded. And this is, of course, Kai, which is Austin's girlfriend, and Kelsey. And man, is this woman beautiful. Holy cow. Woo! Telling you what, guys. Wish I was 30 years younger. That'd be awesome. So,
anyway, wiping the sweat off your brow there, Bob. Wasn't Space Busters, weren't they doing a children-centric book? I
that's right.
I remember.
Yeah. Yep.
I showed my kids their, what was it? I can't remember what it was, but it was explaining about bankers and that sort of thing. But they were looking for backing, weren't they?
Yep, that's right. She was. And then there was also a lady at Plateauberfest that had written a book for kids. And I have her card around here somewhere, but I haven't seen the book yet, but I think that's going to be pretty cool. So we are getting...
going to give them to us. She sold out of the books, 50 of them. She sold out of them at the Plateauberfest.
And then
she's sending us a book.
The Tuttle Twins is a great series of books, but I'd only suggest buying them if you're in the US, because if you get them in the UK, it'll cost you about 3 times as much, as I found out. But the Tuttle Twins were very good. But also, Zach, you were wanting, you were trying to do the whole gambit, weren't you? You were trying to create the videos, create the animations, and there was a farmer. You are the best teacher.
Animation. But it was like 1:20, and it took me over 40 hours to make that. So
I went to
Adobe Animator. No, I'm going to learn this thing. I started it today. I did it for about 4 hours. I don't know how to use it at all still, but
your value is the content and the narrative that you provide behind it. Someone else who is good at animations or whatever could do what took you 120 hours to do. They could probably do in an hour. It's like talking to Iru and saying, "Can you knock up a CAD of our solar system, please?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, no problem." It's just getting the right people together with the right people, and we can achieve all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to do Physics Farm for children.
Physics Farm?
Yeah, it's going to be called the Physics Farm. There'll be Farmer Zach. I'll have Hank there, a chicken, a big giant Tesla tower in the background, the barn, and then we'll go and teach them how our eyes work and how electricity works and how, all this stuff, all the basics.
But I watched the first one of those that you put out. Well, I don't know if you did put it out, but I watched the first one of it. You struggled like hell on the animation, but the content and the script was fantastic, absolutely fantastic for kids, especially. But we're all kids.
I'll get it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. No, without a doubt. So, yep. And of course, like we said, there always is the GLOBEBUSTERS 24/7 Flat Earth channel. And it's got, everything from beginner to advanced. And there's just a lot of really good information on there that, it's just good stuff. You really, really, it's timeless. So you can watch it over and over and over again, and it's actually good to probably do that because then you just get a much better understanding. It's also available through the app. It has its own little link through the app that you can get it through, which is nice. And of course, you can just also go to GLOBEBUSTERS 24/7 Flat Earth channel right here. And it is always streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But you watch that, Bob, and you realize how much you've forgotten of Flat Earth that, you
from it every day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could watch that.
It's like, oh, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is good stuff on there. That's why, like I said, it's the best of the best of the best stuff. The top GLOBEBUSTER stuff and all the top stuff from the best creators in the community. And it's got a wide base of creators in it. So it's just really good stuff. And, as far as I'm concerned, that's something that's going to be timeless.
Yeah, whenever I turn it on and the Potter's Clay is playing one of his guitar riffs, I just listen to it. Even if I'm not watching, I just listen to it.
Yeah,
there's really great videos on there.
I hope you got it properly backed up.
Yeah, he's an awesome guitarist, you betcha.
No, the whole 24/7 channel. I hope
it's
backed up.
I do. I have all the videos backed up. So crazy. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's probably it then. Cammie, what do you have coming up? Anything new and exciting?
Oh, I have Iron Realm Media on Friday night. I have a lot of things I'm getting together for people I met at the conference with the polar ray filters and things like that. And some people want to put together some information on it, so that's exciting. We'll see where it goes from there. Again, it's just getting the right people together and doing the right things. Oktoberfest was such a wonderful success, and just big shout out to Karen B for making it all happen because we all needed it. It was so damn good. The other thing is for people doing children's content, Dave Weiss is so amazingly cool that I bet if we got the content, he would make a suitable for children place on his app where he sorts everything, like the way the sun and moon rise. He makes categories for each one of the questions. I just know he would make a suitable for children section and market you guys out there so everybody can get and see these. If you put it together and it's good, we're going to help you get it out there. So thank you, everybody. We're a snowball. We got to just keep getting bigger. It's growing.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right. And Zach, you got anything coming up?
Just Ironworks and then Iron Realm on Friday, 5 a.m. and then 6 p.m. Eastern time. We start those two different shows. Yeah, I don't know if we have anybody for this Friday. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you guys will come up with somebody. You always do. By the way, I recommended Iron Realm for Rockfin, so hopefully that'll pay off for you guys.
All right.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know Josh is hoping to get the medical exemption for or the religious exemption for the whole mandate at his job. I know that's really so yeah, he may be really putting in some time into video making and stuff like that here real shortly.
Well, you could tell him to just become homeless because, one of the exempted groups, believe it or not, officially exempted are homeless people. How's that for crazy?
Homeless people, all the people that work for the people that make the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, and that one's got me befoozled. It's like, why would they make the homeless exempt? That's weird. That's just one of those things, always throwing curves, make us go, what the hell are they doing? So anyway.
Critical Inception put in a neat thing we found out at Jack's house what globes filled with cornstarch and tannerite are highly flammable and not bulletproof. I know we were looking at pictures of that. Do you have a picture of that blowing up the globe or no for a way out?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Thanks for that, Alex. Let me
They had
go
a
back.
lot of fun over at Just Jack's.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
A lot of pew pew.
Where is it? There it is. Okay, so this is it. Let me go ahead and play it. What they did here, guys, they were shooting guns over at Just Jack's, and they decided that, you know, since it was Flattoberfest, they decided they were going to nuke a globe. So they filled it with some interesting explosives, and they hit it with one shot, and whoa, what a bang. Whoops.
Ready when you are.
So here we go. Getting ready. There's the globe.
Hell yeah.
One more time.
Hell yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Dead.
The globe dead.
Well, we can go down to the store and buy that stuff, John.
I am so jealous. That's what I used to do when I was 13.
Yeah, blow stuff up. Yeah, didn't everybody though, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and now, of course, now they'll throw you in jail for doing stuff like that. Before it used to be just mischief, but man, you blow up anything now, watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No
the way
chance.
it is. Okay. And John, I assume just same old with you. Nothing special going on.
Nothing special, Bob. As you know, I'm doing my best to keep my thing
Sanity.
clean. Yeah, sanity. Yeah, and yeah.
Okay. No problem. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. It was a little bit of a short show today, but you know, we had a big week, and we will be back on Sunday. And oh yeah, as far as the last Sunday show, I couldn't believe it. So Jaron was busy with Alex apparently. Oh, by the way, yeah, let me do a couple announcements here. First of all, I want to, you know, make the announcement for you guys that know or did know Jibby Jedi. Jibby Jedi passed away, I believe it was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. But he did pass away. Apparently, it had something to do with an abscess and an infection, so I guess they weren't calling it COVID. But he was a very active member of the community, and it's very sorry to hear about him going. And also, Ben Taboo Conspiracy, his dad, died at the ripe old age of 88, and it was just pretty much old age, so that really didn't have anything to do with COVID, so that's a good thing. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy that that's going on. And gosh, what was I saying? Where was I going, guys, with that?
Just our losses in the
mention it.
community and life and death and the cycle of life happening. Of course, we lost Rob Skiba, a good friend
Yeah.
of all of us.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
where
yeah. We're definitely losing Rob Skeven. We're just losing people, and it's just sad. But you know, life goes on. But I just wanted to give a shout out to those people and let everybody know that you know, even if it isn't COVID, we do lose people every once in a while, and they will definitely be missed for sure. So, okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us as always. You know, we appreciate all the support that we get. Slow-Mo Moon Boogie, thank you so much for the super chat. And I do not know if there are other super chats. Maybe I should take a look at that really quick. Kind of give everybody a shout out for that. Because my tongue is starting to hurt again because it's rubbing on my really sharp tooth. So I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's like, ouch, man, it really hurts.
It'll never pause, but it rains, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah,
you bite your tongue, and then your tongue's inflamed, and then you keep biting it again and again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
It sucks. All right, so let's go to supers, and what did we get today? So Slow-Mo Moon Buggy. Okay. Says thanks. Thank you much for that, Slow Mo Moon Buggy. Samantha Roberts says, here's a small token of my appreciation. Happy to hear John on GLOBEBUSTERS. That was last week. Okay, so I guess that was all that we got for this week. And then as far as the tips on Rockfin, no data. Wow. Okay. Well, oh, it says it's not live too. God, I hate that. When the live playback, Rockfin definitely has some work to do on their app, but no, it's still showing no tips or anything like that. So, but that's okay. No big deal. Appreciate everybody that is able to donate. That's awesome. And, we love you all. So guys, we'll see you on Sunday and then the following Wednesday, of course, behind that. And until then, be good to each other. Don't lie to each other. Open your mind because there is truth inside. Peace out, everybody.
Let's go, Brandon.
And let's go, Brandon.